ships and claim your story. Spirit of the dead, rise up. Lingering spirit of the dead, rise up and possess your vessel. Those Africans shackled in leg irons and enslaved, step out of the acres of cane fields and cotton fields and tell your story. Spirit of the dead, rise up. Lingering spirit of the dead, rise up and possess your bird of passage. Those lynched in the magnolias, swinging on the limbs of the weeping willows, rotting food for the vultures, step down and claim your story. Spirit of the dead, rise up. Lingering spirit of the dead, rise up and possess your vessel. Those tied, bound, and whipped from Brazil to Mississippi, step out and tell your story. Those in Jamaica, in the fields of Cuba, in the swamps of Florida, the rice fields of South Carolina, you waiting Africans, step out and tell your story. Spirit of the dead, rise up. Lingering spirit of the dead, rise up and possess your bird of passage. From Alabama to Suriname, up to the caves of Louisiana, come out, you African spirits. Step out and claim your stories. You raped, slave-bred, castrated, burned, tarred and feathered, roasted, chopped, lobotomized, bound and gagged, you African spirits. Spirit of the dead, rise up. Lingering spirit of the dead, rise up and possess your bird of passage.
This is Honor Level Productions. You're listening to the Resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey series.
Garvey was born in an atmosphere of prophecy. When his father first saw him, so close a resemblance did he bear him. He was overcome with joy, and he lifted him up in his arms and cried out, "Your name shall be Mosiah, and you shall someday be a Moses."
Welcome to the final day of Black History Month. For the past 30 days, we've granted you, for the first time ever, special access into the philosophy and opinions of one of the greatest men to have ever walked this earth. Over the past 4 weeks, we've been celebrating a remarkable life and legacy through our radio series, The Resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, a series that has been presented by myself, Jermaine Brown. The shows have featured 31 brothers from across our community, all chosen to resurrect different speeches, articles, and essays of Marcus Garvey daily. Today's our final show, and what a lineup we have had. We have not only the closing speech, but a studio filled with several of the men who've took part in the series. We also have a surprise, so keep it locked. Now, before we get into today's main speech, here's some important information that you need to know about the man, the myth, the movement, and the legend. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was the founder and organizer of the largest independent black movement in the world, the Universal Negro Improvement Association and the African Communities League. At the heights of success, the organization had a worldwide membership of over 11 million subscribed members. Now, this was an excellent feat, especially when we consider that this happened during a time of no smartphones, no internet, and no social media, and during the midst of 2 world wars. Yet he dared to travel the world, even to non-English speaking regions, spreading his message of self-love and empowerment. Now, this was at a time when it was particularly dangerous for black men and women to wander outside of their own homes. But these factors did not stop the man and the movement, for he had at his disposal an unmatched confidence. He did not fear failure. He did not care about the laughter and the ridicule hurled at him, for he had a fearless passion for the advancement of black people worldwide that fueled his mission. Now, I'm intrigued to know more about the mind of this man and how he accomplished so much. What can I take from him that I can apply to my life today? I wonder. We're assembled here today to bring to a close our great series of 31 days and 31 nights. We conclude with the speech, "The handwriting is on the wall." Today's speech has been chosen as one of the final speeches of our series, as it is fitting for the times we find ourselves in as we seek to empower ourselves globally and within our national borders, wherever we reside as black people. Also, it is somewhat ironic that Garvey opens the speech referring to the 31st day, the final day of the UNIA's convention of 1921. Garvey originally delivered the final talk at the Second International Convention of Negroes of the World at Liberty Hall, New York City, on August 31st, 1921. The Negro World account describes how Garvey got up to deliver this speech before the cheering crowd, smiling and bowing to the right and then to the left like a black Napoleon, whereupon the audience again broke into great cheering and hurrahing, followed by the association yell of the Junior Motor Corps girls. Today's narration is by brother Manu from Birmingham, UK.
You are listening to an On a Level production featuring the Resurrection Marcus Mosiah Garvey series.
We are assembled here to bring to a close our great convention of 31 days and 31 nights. Before we separate ourselves and take our departure to the different parts of the world from which we came, I desire to give you a message, one that you will, I hope, take home and propagate among the scattered millions of Africa's sons and daughters. We have been here, sent here by the goodwill of the 400 million Negroes of the world, to legislate in their interests, and in the time allotted to us, we did our best to enact laws and to frame laws that in our judgment we hope will solve the great problem that confronts us universally. The Universal Negro Improvement Association seeks to emancipate the Negro everywhere, industrially, educationally, politically, and religiously. It also seeks a free and redeemed Africa. It has a great struggle ahead. It has a gigantic task to face. Nevertheless, as representatives of the Negro people of the world, we have undertaken the task of freeing the 400 million of our race and of freeing our bleeding motherland Africa. We counseled with each other during the 31 days. We debated with each other during the 31 days. And out of all we did and out of all we said, we have come to the one conclusion, that speedily Africa must be redeemed. We have come to the conclusion that speedily there must be an emancipated Negro race everywhere. And going back to our respective homes, we go with our determination to lay down, if need be, the last drop of our blood for the defense of Africa and for the emancipation of our race. The handwriting is on the wall. You see it as plain as daylight. You see it coming out of India. The tribes of India rising in rebellion against their overlords. You see it coming out of Africa, our dear motherland Africa. The Moors rising in rebellion against their overlords and defeating them at every turn. According to the last report flashed to this country from Morocco by the Associated Press, the Moors have again conquered and subdued the Spanish hordes. The same Associated Press flashes to us the news that there is a serious uprising in India and the English people are marshalling their troops to subdue the spirit of liberty, of freedom, which is now permeating India. The news has come to us, and I have a cable in my pocket that comes from Ireland, that the Irish are determined to have liberty and nothing less than liberty. The handwriting is on the wall, and as we go back to our respective homes, we shall serve notice upon the world that we are also coming with a united effort, coming with a united determination, a determination that Africa shall be free from coast to coast. I have before me the decision of the League of Nations. Immediately after the war, a council of the League of Nations was called, and at that council they decided that the territories wrested from Germany in West Africa, taken from her during the conflict, should be divided between France and England. 608,000 square miles, without even asking the civilized Negroes of the world what disposition shall be made of their own homeland, of their own country. An insult was hurled at the civilized Negroes of the world when they thus took upon themselves the right to parcel out and apportion as they please 608,000 square miles of our own land. For we never gave it up. We never sold it. It is still ours. They parceled it out between these two nations, England and France, gave away our property without consulting us, and we are aggrieved. We desire to serve notice on civilization and on the world that 400 million Negroes are aggrieved. And we are the more aggrieved because of the lynch rope, because of segregation, because of the Jim Crowism that is used, practiced, and exercised here in this country and in other parts of the world by the white nations of the earth. Wherever Negroes happen accidentally or otherwise to find themselves. If there is no safety for Negroes in the white world, I cannot see what right they have to parcel out our homeland, the country of Negroes, without consulting Negroes and asking their permission to do so. Therefore, we are aggrieved. This question of prejudice will be the downfall of civilization. And I warn the white race of this and of their doom. I hope they will take heed, because the handwriting is on the wall. The handwriting is on the wall. No portion of humanity, no group of humanity has an abiding right, an everlasting right, an eternal right to oppress other sections or portions of humanity. God never gave them the right. And if there is such a right, man arrogated it to himself, and God in all ages has been displeased with the arrogance of man. I warn those nations which believe themselves above the law of God, above the commandments of God. I warn those nations that believe themselves above human justice. You cannot ignore the law of God. You cannot long ignore the commandments of God. You cannot long ignore human justice and exist. Your arrogance will destroy you, and I warn the races and the nations that have arrogated to themselves the right to oppress, the right to circumscribe, the right to keep down other races. I warn them that the hour is coming when the oppressed will rise in their might, in their majesty, and throw off the yoke of ages. The world ought to understand that the Negro has come to life possessed with a new conscience and a new soul. The old Negro is buried, and it is well the world knew it. It is not my purpose to deceive the world. I believe in righteousness. I believe in truth. I believe in honesty. That is why I warn a selfish world of the outcome of their actions towards the oppressed. There will come a day. Josephus Daniels wrote about it, a white statesman, and the world has talked about it, and I warn the world of it, that the day will come when the races of the world will marshal themselves in great conflict for the survival of the fittest. Men of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, I am asking you to prepare yourself and prepare your race the world over, because the conflict is coming. Not because you will it, not because you desire it, because you will be forced into it. The conflict between the races is drawing nearer and nearer. You see it, I see it in the handwriting on the wall, as expressed in the uprising in India. You see the handwriting on the wall of Africa. You see it, the handwriting on the wall of Europe. It is coming. It is drawing nearer and nearer. 400 million Negroes of the world. I'm asking you to prepare yourself so that you will not be found wanting when that day comes. Ah, what a sorry day it will be. I hope it will never come. But my hope, my wish, will not prevent its coming. All that I can do is to warn humanity everywhere so that humanity may change its tactics and warn them of the danger. I repeat, I warn the white world against the prejudice they are practicing against Negroes. I warn them against the segregation and injustice they mete out to us. For the perpetuation of these things will mean the ultimate destruction of the present civilization and the building up of a new civilization founded upon mercy, justice, and equality. I know that we have good men in all races living at the present time. We have good men of the black race, we have good men of the white race, good men of the yellow race, who are endeavoring to do the best they can to ward off this coming conflict. White men who have vision, go ye back and warn your people of this coming conflict. Black men of vision, go ye to the four corners of the earth and warn your people of this coming conflict. Yellow men, go ye out and warn your people of this coming conflict, because it is drawing nearer and nearer, nearer and nearer. Oh, if this world will only listen to the heart throbs, to the soul beats of those who have vision, those who have God's love in their hearts. I see before me white men, black men, yellow men, working assiduously for the peace of the world, for the bringing together of this thing called human brotherhood. I see them working through their organizations. They have been working during the last 50 years. Some work to bring about the emancipation because they saw the danger of perpetual slavery. They brought about the liberation of 4 million black people. They passed away and others started to work, but the opposition against them is too strong. The opposition against them is weighing them down. The world has gone mad. The world has become too material. The world has lost its spirit of kinship with God, and man can see nothing else but prejudice, avarice, and greed. Avarice and greed will destroy the world, and I'm appealing to white, black, and yellow, whose hearts, whose souls are touched with the true spirit of humanity, with the true feeling of human brotherhood, to preach the doctrine of human love more, to preach it louder, to preach it longer, because there is a great need for it in the world at this time. Ah, if they could but see the danger, the conflict between the races fighting against each other. What a destruction, what a holocaust it will be. Can you imagine it? Just take your idea from the last bloody war, wherein a race was pitted against itself, for the whole white races united as one from a common origin, the members of which on both sides fought so tenaciously that they killed off each other in frightful, staggering numbers. If a race pitted against itself could fight so tenaciously to kill itself without mercy, can you imagine the fury? Can you imagine the mercilessness, the terribleness of the war that will come when all the races of the world will be on the battlefield, engaged in deadly combat for the destruction or overthrow of the one or the other, when beneath it and as a cause of it lies prejudice and hatred? Truly, it will be an ocean of blood. That is all it will be. So that if I can sound a note of warning now, that will echo and reverberate around the world and thus prevent such a conflict, God help me to do it. For Africa, like Europe, like Asia, is preparing for that day. You may ask yourself if you believe Africa is still asleep. Africa has been slumbering, but she was slumbering for a purpose. Africa still possesses her hidden mysteries. Africa has unused talents, and we are unearthing them now for the coming conflict. Oh, I hope it will never come. Therefore, I hope the white world will change its attitude towards the weaker races of the world, for we shall not be weak everlastingly. Ah, history teaches us of the rise and fall of nations, races, and empires. Rome fell in her majesty, Greece fell in her triumph. Babylon, Assyria, Carthage, Prussia, the German Empire all fell in their pomp and power. The French Empire fell from the sway of the great Napoleon, from the dominion of the indomitable Corsican soldier. As they fell in the past, so will nations fall in the present age, and so will they fall in the future ages to come, the result of their unrighteousness. I repeat, I warn the world, and I trust you will receive this warning as you go into the four corners of the earth. The white race should teach humanity. Out there is selfishness in the world. Let the white race teach humanity first, because we have been following the cause of humanity for 300 years, and we have suffered much. If a change must come, it must not come from Negroes, it must come from the white race, for they are the ones who have brought about this estrangement between the races. The Negroes never hated. At no time within the last 500 years can you point to one single instance of Negro hatred. The Negro has loved even under the severest punishment. In slavery, the Negro loved his master. He protected his master. He safeguarded his master's home. Greater love has no man than he should lay down his life for another. We gave not only our service, our unrequited labor, we gave also our souls, we gave our hearts, we gave our all to our oppressors. But after all, we are living in a material world, even though it is partly spiritual. And since we have been spiritual in the past, we're going to take a part of the material now, and will give others the opportunity to practice the spiritual side of life. Therefore, I am not telling you to lead in humanity. I'm not telling you to lead in the bringing about of the turning of humanity, because you have been doing that for 300 years and you have lost. But the compromise must come from the dominant races. We are warning them. We are not preaching a doctrine of hatred, and I trust you will not go back to your respective homes and preach such a doctrine. We are preaching, rather, a doctrine of humanity, a doctrine of human love. But we say love begins at home. Charity begins at home. We are aggrieved because of this partitioning of Africa, because it seeks to deprive Negro of the chance of higher national development. No chance, no opportunity is given to us to prove our fitness to govern, to dominate in our own behalf. They impute so many bad things against Haiti and against Liberia that they themselves circumvented Liberia so as to make it impossible for us to demonstrate our ability for self-government. Why not be honest? Why not be straightforward? Having desired the highest development, as they avowed and profess of the Negro, why not give him a fair chance, an opportunity to prove his capacity for governing? What better opportunity ever presented itself than the present, when the territories of Germany in Africa were wrested from her control by the Allies in the last war? What better chance ever offered itself for trying out the higher ability of Negroes to govern themselves than to have given those territories to the civilized Negroes and thus give them a trial to exercise themselves in a proper system of government? Because of their desire to keep us down, because of their desire to keep us apart, they refuse us a chance. The chance that they did give us is a chance that we are going to take. Hence, before I take my seat, I will move a resolution, and I think it is befitting at this time to pass such a resolution as I will move, so that the League of Nations and the Supreme Council of the Nations will understand that Negroes are not asleep, that Negroes are not false to themselves, that Negroes are wide awake, and that Negroes intend to take a serious part in the future government of this world, that God Almighty created him and placed him in it. This world owes us a place, and we are going to occupy that place. We have a right to a large part in the political horizon, and I say to you that we are preparing to occupy that part. Go back to your respective corners of the earth and preach the real doctrine of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the doctrine of a universal emancipation for the Negroes, the doctrine of a free and a redeemed Africa.
That was an On a Level production.
Mosiah Garvey, great one. Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. If you listen carefully now, you will hear. This could be the first trumpet. Might as well be the last. Many more will have to suffer. Many more.
So our nations were grounded and built in spiritual consciousness. Our vision to celebrate the presence of the Spirit of the Divine in our earthly lives, to celebrate and to give expression to our spiritual vision through the construct of nations that were designed to build the kingdom of the deities right here on earth, to celebrate, to cultivate and celebrate righteousness right here on the earth. We didn't create nations for the purpose of oppressing other nations or for the purpose of oppressing the subjects of that nation, but to elevate everyone within the nation to our God status, our goddess status. That's why we say glorify your own nation. For in the glorification of our own nation, we are also glorifying our Creator. You can't separate it in the African context, so we can't be confused in this time as Africans as to what an African nation means to us as a people. Glorify your own nation. Papa Garvey wants us to glorify our own nation. Papa Garvey wants us to remind ourselves what nationhood means to us. Papa Garvey wants us to be clear what the difference between our nation and somebody else's nation. Creating, you can't, brothers and sisters, claim a nation that you didn't build.
If you listen carefully, now you will hear. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. Such a natural mystic flowing through the air. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air.
May I say something to you to give you a true knowledge of yourself and life, so that the same glory and success attained by other men who understand themselves.
Really from the bottom, came up by it like starving. I built my own business like a Marcus Garvey. Black entrepreneur like a Marcus Garvey. Trying to own my own ship like a Marcus Garvey. Really from the bottom, came up by it.
You've just been listening to The Handwriting is on the Wall, originally delivered at the Second International Convention of Negroes of the World at Liberty Hall, New York City, August 31st, 1921. Today's resurrection was presented by Brother Manu. This concludes day 31 of our 31-part series, and we'd like to thank Brother Manu for resurrecting the spirit of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Brother Manu has been a Garveyite since picking up the book Black Moses at age 19. Manu says the teachings within the book and examples of Mr. Garvey have guided and motivated me. I've been working and serving my people for over 40 years as a school teacher, artist, and mentor to thousands of black boys as a founder of the Malika House Community Village Centre in Birmingham, UK. Manu is currently a member of the 21st Century Marcus Garvey organisation based in Birmingham, UK. As you know, in this series, we are paying homage to Marcus Mosiah Garvey, as Black History Month is all about celebration. So join me to give a few shout outs, starting with Garvey's parents, Mama Sarah Jane Richards, and Pops Marcus Garvey Sr. We also want to pay homage to those esteemed ancestors who paved the way for Marcus to appear on the world stage. We also pay homage to the graduates of the School of African Philosophy and all of the founding members and supporters of the UNIA. Last but not least, we pay special homage and tribute to his esteemed wife, Amy Jakes Garvey, who was a formidable leader in her own right.
They told me I should be like Jordan. I told them I'ma be like Garvey. They told my race me not important, so I got my race me through a party. Yeah, I wanna be like Garvey. I wanna be like Garvey, yeah. I wanna be like Garvey. Oh, I wanna be like, I'ma start my own government. Take care of my family, they ain't paying rent. No, I'm dropping truth and
Marcus Garvey set out on the lonely trail of smashing many of the preconceived ideas which made the black man inferior in his thinking, such as to believe that he was belonging to a vicious and predestined evil race, that God and the angels were white, that he, the black man, personified the devil, who was reputedly black, that he was the likeness of black magic and misfortune, the son of Ham, a hewer of wood and drawer of water, and that all the creation of the dominant white civilization, calculated to foster the concept of white supremacy, was ordained by God.
I'm calling all my bros, you tell me that you know, but if we ain't together, we'll never win. I wanna be like Garvey, yeah, like Garvey, wanna be like Garvey, yeah, straight up, yeah. I look around like where's our kings and queens? I look around like where's our royalty? Our culture shouldn't be scared of no police.
Garvey was an angry man. He smote his chest and demanded to know the author of the scurrilous wicked poetry, 4,000 years after Noah had gone to his grave in peace. When he spoke in Madison Square Garden, he served notice on all the nations squatting in Africa to get out before the wrath of 400 billion black men, women and children hurled them into the sea. Arising from obscurity, Garvey's never-to-be-forgotten oratory took him to the very apex of fame. Millions unquestionably followed him. Such were the conditions of his people bowed down with inferiority complex for hundreds of years, that Garvey visibly touched to tears and compassion in the deliverance of his message emphatically thundered, "Ah, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will." The black man of yesterday has disappeared from the stage of human activities forever, and in his place stands a new man, erect, conscious of his manhood and right, and fully determined to preserve himself at all costs. Marcus Garvey, in his finest hour in Liberty Hall, New York, in the 1920s, addressing the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, said so many things applicable to the conditions of today. To read the world history of races written by some writers gives the impression that the black man amounted to nothing in the creation. We are satisfied, however, to know that our race gave the first great civilization to the world. For centuries, our ancestral home was a seat of learning, and here black men who were faithful to God were philosophers, scientists, artists, and men of vision and leadership. On the other hand, our producers were groping in darkness and continental barbarism. Black men, you are once great, and you will be great again. Great men have come out of Egypt, out of Ethiopia, out of Africa, Sahara. Great men will come out of America. the West Indies and the islands of the sea. Our history is as great as that of any race or people, and nothing on this side of heaven or hell will make us deny it, notwithstanding the false treaties, essays, speculation, and philosophies. Their arrogance is but skin deep, and an assumption that has no foundation in morals nor law. When we were embracing the sciences on the banks of the Nile, when our civilization had reached the noonday of progress, their ancestors were still running naked and sleeping in holes with bats, rats, and other animals. Garvey's messianic message to the groping millions of his race would surely bring him to Golgotha. His leadership would emancipate millions from the shackles of mental and moral servitude. It was the great gulf, it was the violent contrast between the upper and middle classes and the people of his race, which made the first telling impact on the mind of the youthful Garvey. Illiteracy and ranking poverty were the two decisive factors which contributed to his impact. Like Socrates, Garvey geared himself for his cup of hemlock, like a Christ on his way to a blood-stained cross. Before his death, however, in 1940, he would have the satisfaction of knowing that a squalid century after the emancipation of 1838, the men and system against whom he fought such a good fight had lost forever their footing on the ladder of imperial and economic power. Marcus Garvey left you a special message, my children. Let no voice but your own speak to you from the depths. Let no voice but your own rouse you in time of peace or war. Hear all, but attend only to that which concerns you. Your allegiance shall be to your gods and to your family, race and country. Remember always that the Jew, in his political and economic urge, is always first a Jew. The Caucasian is first a Caucasian under all circumstances, and you can do no better than to be first and always a black man. Be sure to teach your children science and religion, for it lies as our only hope to withstand the evil designs of modern materialism. Lift up your hearts and repeat to yourselves the words of the African poet Terence. I am a man, and I think that nothing that is common to humanity is foreign to me. Garvey endeared himself to his thousands of listeners when he dramatized and immortalized the heroes and heroines of Afro-American history. Through the power of his oratory, Garvey showed them that Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman were equally deserving of a niche in the Hall of Fame as Martha Washington and Betsy Ross. They were made to feel that the muse which inspired Phyllis Wheatley was no less fine than that of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. The black poet Paul Laurence Dunbar was made to take his place with the great poets of the world. It was seen that the African General Hannibal surpassed Napoleon in military genius, and Toussaint Louverture and Antonio Maceo were worthy of comparison with George Washington and Lord Kitchener. Marcus Garvey's hell-bound audiences heard that Crispin Act was as great as Patrick Henry, and that the Ethiopian Queen of Sheba outshone Britain's Queen Victoria in the splendor of her court. Solomon, in his wisdom, towered above platform. King Menelik was more than Abe Lincoln. Never before had the descendants of the slaves been so uplifted. Marcus Garvey delivered that message, and all the world wondered. Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. It was the same message delivered 4,000 years before by the Jewish patriarch. Let my people go. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of his journey, we pause to assess his work on work. We find that Marcus Garvey has left his people in America at the crossroads of history and destiny. The now 38 independent states in Africa are the first of the fruits of them that slept in the chronology of his prophecy. To quote his own words, "Hail, United States of Africa, hail." Also Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Guyana, and his own homeland, Jamaica, still on the wave of freedom. The Associated States within the British Commonwealth of Nations, Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica and Willa and the British Virgin Islands, flying the flag of freedom and independence and echoing the voice of Marcus Garvey. Whatever his failing, Marcus Garvey brought fresh hope and courage to his people. Mankind has benefited because Marcus Garvey passed there. And who knows, but someday posterity will confirm him in the title of the Black Moses. Then millions of black men, women, and children will make the pilgrimage to his shrine in Jamaica, for they will have come to pray and kneel at the tomb of the father of African independence. Oh, he vowed to win his race's destiny, to lift them up from ignorance and hell. With deathless courage, fashioned victory, fighting on equal terms, what if he failed? He's gone, 'tis true, but history yet will tell that Marcus Mosiah Garvey did his work, and he did it
Mrs. Garvey kept her husband's legacy alive, and it is partly because of her loving efforts that we can share this groundbreaking series with you today.
It's time out for talking. It's time to beat the street. Salute the ancestors. I'm standing at your feet. And though I'm not perfect, I'm the truth still. Let me give you the red and the blue pill. I'm a born soldier. Studied to find closure. Before I resurrect, I had the Sankofa. Similar to caterpillars. Live to butterfly. Goals after goals. I'm reaching for the sky. Raised in the death culture. I survived prison. You ain't scared to die, but you afraid of living. Oblivion vision won't let you see we end up with cancer. The elevation of the black woman is the answer. I know you fed up, but keep your head up. Power in the numbers, multiply the bread truck. It's all about the application of the information. And is it beneficial to the next generation? I'm repping my team, red, black, and green. Queens and kings, salute, not scream. I should.
Before I hand you back over to our studio guests, I'm going to say it has been a great honor in presenting this series. We will leave you with the famous anthem that Marcus Garvey and the UNIA members had wanted to be adopted as the universal black anthem across the globe. By now, I'm sure you can sing along. After 30 days of hearing this famous anthem, I'm sure you can sing it word for word. Let's take a moment to listen, and feel free to wave your red, black, and green flag should you have one. Thank you very much. It's been an honor.
So we must stay focused as Africans, glorifying our own nation, lifting up and raising up our own president, our own government, controlled by people who look like us, in our own interests, and we will continue to stay focused on answering the command of the most eminent prophet and king, His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Rise, you mighty African people, for you can accomplish whatever you will.
black and green. Advance, advance to victory.